Hello. Today I decided to feature a ship that I haven't covered in a long time. In fact, looking at my channel, I realized the last time I covered Edinburgh was October 24th, 2016. So to say that it's been a while since I played this is not really an exaggeration. That was actually the last time that I played this ship in general, so I'm pretty rusty when it comes to playing the Edinburgh, because I haven't really touched this in a long time. I did play some Fiji during the last ranked season, just to test it out for the sake of a ranked commentary, so I'm not entirely out of touch with how the mid-range Royal Navy cruisers play. But I always consider these ships quite strong. I have of course played some Minotaur every now and then, but I don't really play that much. It's not exactly one of my favorite cruisers because the whole smoke sitting ducka type of playstyle isn't that interesting to me. However, they're still very strong ships, and the Edinburgh is very much a carry capable ship, just like the Fiji is, just like the Neptune is, and of course just like the Minotaur is. Their strength is the ability to get very close thanks to their great concealment, and having their own smoke and own hydro means that it's very hard to deal with them unless you have a radar cruiser willing to push up close enough, or some sort of hydro ship willing to push up close enough. Doing it in a DD is very risky, because if you get spotted in return, then of course the very short fused AP that the Royal Navy cruisers have can easily wreck you. In this map I push straight into B. Benson is popping a smoke wall to help everyone out. Good job, Benson. I pop Hydro to see the incoming torps early, which is what probably helps both me and my DD buddies here avoid most of these hits. Now I'm forced to dodge out of the way of these torps. I'm forced to accelerate a bit more than I wanted to, and here some of my rustiness pops up. I actually wanted to stop within the smoke, but I'm so rusty with this ship and how I forgot how slowly these things de-accelerate that I glide out of the smoke. At this point, priority targets tell me 3 people is already targeting me. I see guns turning my way, I see shells about to come my way, so I decide to pop my own smoke. Bit of a waste considering Benson used a great smoke here, but ultimately it's either use a smoke or eat a ton of damage. So I decide to use a smoke here. My preemptive torps that I threw towards the smoke actually turn out really good. I hit 2 different targets, it looks like a DD and I think a Fiji that was in there. Ognavoy picks a fight with the Benson, who's spotting for us. Not very smart, considering you can see just how much damage Edinburgh does to DDs. I quickly switch to the Fiji since he shows himself full broadside, since I'm pretty sure I can secure this kill here if I land enough citadels. Especially since these shells have a bit of an arc, so I can lob them over this hill. And I do in fact manage to secure the Fiji before he gets into cover. So a pretty good start so far, already 50k damage done. Both DDs are crippled. The Fiji, who tried to play like I'm doing here, aka pushing into the cap, he got caught by the torps. I can only assume the Fiji did not understand to pop Hydro the same way I did, or it's possible that he had completely stopped, and because he had completely stopped, he didn't have time to accelerate. Because as I said, these ships are... once you get going, the ships handle really well, but the initial acceleration and the acceleration on the ship is very clumsy and can be quite frustrating, and I had forgotten how clumsy it was, as can be seen by my gliding out of the smoke right at the start. But something to keep in mind for sure. That Ognavoy is really pushing in. That is very ambitious and not very intelligent, since he knows by now I'm here because I killed the Fiji, so he should be aware. Well, he's dead now. I am playing on my NA account, hence the renamed user blah thing. My own smoke is fading, so I'm just gonna reverse into cover here. Considering this is of course one of the great strengths, that ship is less than 10 kilometers away from me, but Edinburgh has like a concealment of 9 km if you run the full stealth build, which I highly recommend, so I can pretty comfortably just reverse into cover here. As long as I don't shoot, nothing can really spot me. So both enemy DDs are dead, and Fiji is dead, and we managed to secure B. So overall, a pretty damn good success story here. Looks like this Iva is heading for my torps. The torps are of course 10 kilometers. You only have 3 per side, but their range makes them surprisingly versatile, and they do hit fairly hard. I think they're like 16k damage per torp. My smoke finally comes up, so I smoke up and start shooting this Iva that's sailing right into my torps. In fact, no real need. He managed to get lucky enough to get a detonation out of that. Wow. I wish I was that lucky. What happened there, he would have died anyway, but because of the detonation, he got a bunch of flags from it. And you can see again, I tried to accelerate, just move a bit forward in the smoke, and I glide out of my own smoke like a total potato. And this is just me being so rusty with these ships. As I said, I haven't played this ship in like I haven't played Edinburgh since October last year, so I'm extremely rusty in how the ship handles, and it can be seen by these really stupid, silly mistakes of constantly gliding out of my own smokes. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm not running the 20% increased smoke size perk, and I remember actually really liking it on Royal Navy cruisers. Once you've got an adrenaline rush, I really like getting that perk as well for the bigger smoke sizes to give you some more maneuverability inside your own smokes. But still, the rustiness is showing here, and this is not a fault of the ship. I don't want you guys to think, wow, what's so hard to stay in this smoke, look at Flamu. No, this is just me being really, really rusty with this ship. So don't take it as an offense towards the ship. The ship is great, it's just me being a potato when it comes to sailing. Chapai pushes in, I drop torps his way. If you guys notice that Chapai was in fact a stock Chapai, and that's important to note, because stock Chapayev does not have access to radar. It's only the upgraded hull that has access to radar. So if that had been an upgraded Chapayev, I'd be leaving this smoke in a hurry. But since I know he's a stock one, I'm not really in any sort of panic here. I can wait out my smoke. The smoke timer you see on the screen, as well as these smoke circles, they are not a mod. I often have people asking me, well, how do you get that smoke timer? How do you get those circles? None of those are a mod. They're part of the game. You just have to turn on the setting. You just have to turn on the settings in your options. You go to options, controls, and there's a bunch of tick boxes where you can turn on both the circle and that thing. And I highly recommend using them both because the information they give is very useful. Bit worried here, I want to damage this guy, but gave a bit too much broadside to the Colorado and I was instantly punished with a Citadel. And that's kind of how the Royal Navy works in general. You make yourself too easy of a target, you get punished real fast in these ships. Don't expect to be tanking. You are actually surprisingly tanky against cruisers as long as you're angled. Keyword here being as long as you're angled. If you get broadside to cruisers, even cruisers can one-shot you. I've gotten plenty of devastating strikes in my cruisers against Royal Navy cruisers. But if you stay angled, you're able to deal with other cruisers fairly well. In fact, you can take them on 1v1 and probably beat them because you have so much DPM. So, but most of the time the problem is that if you rarely really get to fight other cruisers in a fair 1 versus 1. In fact, what happens is as soon as you get spotted, everyone on the enemy team will focus you, because by now, it wasn't as much so when I played this the last time, but by now everyone knows Royal Navy cruisers are paper and everyone knows to focus fire them for that easy devastating kill. In fact, people who are watching my spotter plane guides also shoot quite often towards smoked up Royal Navy cruisers, which is of course why I run spotter planes and multiple battleships that can support it, simply for being able to shoot at these smoked up Royal Navy cruisers. So if you do see someone who utilizes this, try to angle in your smokes, don't sit full broadside like I'm sitting here. I am quite confident neither of these are going to be smoke firing me, hence my choice to sit broadside. But other than that, angled is recommended. We know there's another DD here, it's the Fletcher, which is why I made sure to reverse to the edge of my smoke. I would love to have a slightly... Whoa! He did do a wide enough spread to catch me off guard. And that's of course something that does happen. In this case, my Hydro was on cooldown because I used it earlier. And at some point, you usually get desync between your Hydro and your smoke, and it's pretty impossible to prevent this from happening. So that's why one of the perks I also recommend getting is Vigilance. For these awkward moments that I just experienced, you cannot always have Hydro active. Even when you run premium consumables like I do, I run premium smoke and premium Hydro, even then they will eventually get out of sync. And when that happens, you are vulnerable to torpedoes, as you just quite clearly saw as I ate that Fletcher torpedo. Did not expect to see it, did not even see it coming, had very little warning in general. So For those situations, running Vigilance as the last perk is highly recommended. Luckily though, Royal Navy cruisers have a very good heal, and in general cruisers can of course heal 30% of all citadel damage. Unlike, for example, battleships, who can only heal 10% of citadel damage, cruisers can heal 30%, so you're able to at least regain some chunk of that health. Now, my torps are not going to hit this North Carolina, but I know there's a DD back here somewhere. So what I'm going to do is, while my Hydra is active, I'm going to see if I can pull off a flank. It's possible that I might even get some shots in on the North Carolina, but the idea here is mostly to see if I could find the DD and ambush him. He pops up on my right, and I'm gonna see if I can get some damage on this Fletcher dude. He wasn't expecting me to be pushing in, he thought he was safe behind his North Carolina, and you can see he's eating a lot of damage here. His preemptive torps though are good in the sense that they stop me from chasing him. I would actually have liked to chase him into the smoke and kill him off with my Hydra active, since I have another 14 seconds, but that widespread that he threw my way forces me to turn away, and these torps would have been dodgeable. I'm 100% certain these torps would have been dodgeable if I've just had a bit more, if I wasn't so rusty with sailing this ship. I think I overturned a bit there. I could have dodged that quite easily, but I overturned and unnecessarily ate one of those torps. And that's, once again, the ship doesn't handle badly. It's just me being rusty. These things happen. He's trying to set fire on me, of course, since he got a flooding, but I'm undetected. No one is spotting me here. That is most likely the Kagero that smoked up. The problem right now is, where is the chop I have? And there he is. Oh, and one of the DDs left the smoke, and now I'm in a really awkward position. I have to smoke up, and I didn't really want to smoke up here. Well, first of all, my Hydra has run out, and I got two DDs who want to kill me, but I was forced to smoke up because this Chapive is straight up rushing me. So this is an awkward situation in pretty much every possible way, and now we lost vision. I should leave the smoke, but I'm gonna see if I can reverse and perhaps in that way avoid any torpedoes coming my way. I want to keep moving in this smoke, but at this point it's too late. These are, I think, widespread torps. Yeah, not what I was expecting, the widespread torps, but all he needed was one hit, and that's enough to secure the kill on me. However, I did have big enough of an impact on this game to secure us the win. This was my daily win in the ship. As I said, haven't played it in a long time, so this was the first game, so I got the daily win bonuses, which is a nice 16k XP, over 800k credits, which is always nice, 176k damage, considering it was tier 9. I'm a bit salty that I didn't get the Kraken. If I've just secured one of those kills that were left, I could have gotten my Kraken on this ship, but I guess you can't get it all. Team score wise, well, it does tell the story, doesn't it? I was such an integral part in fighting off the enemy DDs and defending the capture points, and in general just capping them, that the XP reward I gained was absolutely massive. 3.6k base XP, and of course, thanks to the multiplier is why I got 16k XP with the daily win, I think 100% bonus. So a pretty huge carry game in that sense. Detailed report wise, not much spotting damage, but potential damage 1.2 million, even though I sat in the smokes mostly. Torpedoes spotted 45. That's of course not just useful for me, but also my allies, which is of course the use a Royal Navy cruiser gives when he's in a cap like that. Your friendly DDs are unlikely to eat any torps, since your Hydra is spotting them plenty in advance. Damage I dealt personally, 71k with torps, not much flooding, you usually don't get much flooding, and of course very, very little fire damage, because you only have secondaries that shoot HE. Main guns did 104k, and damage received, honestly, those 3 torps, 41k damage. I could have dodged 1, maybe 2 of those torps if I just sailed my ship better. But as I said, I'm fairly rusty when it comes to playing the Edinburgh. I haven't played it in a while. But still, even with this rustiness and my mistakes, the ship is obviously a very, very strong carry. As long as you avoid your main counters, which are basically radar ships. radar ships and DDs that can saturate the water with torpedoes. Those are your two hardest counters. As long as you survive through those, you can pretty much kill everything else, which has of course always been the strength of well, the Edinburgh, the Fiji, the Neptune, the Minotaur, and so forth. Anyway, let's move on to my recommended build. Starting off, as usual, we have the modules. Now, I highly recommend getting the hull first, because it gives you, not only does it give you rudder shift, it also gives you a nice chunk of HP, and it does help your AA significantly. So hull first, followed straight after by the range. You can do pretty well with the 14 km range, thanks to smokes and your great stealth. So it's not as big of a priority as the hull, but you do want to get it as soon as possible, because of course 15.4 is a lot more comfortable than 14. And once you have that, get the torpedoes. They give you increased range and I think a bit of speed. Yeah, only 1 knot of speed, but the increased range is the most important part. Priority wise, actually I don't know if premium damage control party isn't as important as premium smoke on this one, because usually when you do get shot at, it's only very temporary, and it's for the few seconds that you are spotted in the ship. Obviously though, you want to use premium smokes, don't bother with any of the other consumables. Premium heal, premium repair, and premium hydro if you can afford it. But honestly, this ship does much better when you have all the premium consumables than without, mostly because you want to be able to sync your smoke and your hydro at the same time to leave yourself somewhat safe in every smoke that you sit in. Upgrade wise, main armaments mod 1, AA gun range mod 2. Honestly, there's not really any other that I could recommend. You want the AA range to be able to shoot down spotter planes and such, especially if your smoke is about to fade and there's a spotter plane around. You want to be able to shoot it down before you move out, so you don't get spotted even temporarily. Damage control system mod 1, I don't really lose edge or rudder. Oh, apologies, I just woke up. And a rudder shift as well. You want the steering gears for the times that you do park in smokes. You can't even get the acceleration, so don't bother. Damage control is of course completely useless. I don't recommend that premium upgrade at all. And finally, concealment. Captain perks wise, actually I'm gonna respec. This is the build that I used for the vid, or for the game I just played. But actually I don't really like having preventive maintenance, because I'm missing one of the perks that I want the most right now. So let's take volume 2 here. We want last adrenaline rush, of course, it's so valuable. And we want additional smoke, hydro, and heal. Superintendent is insanely valuable for... This is the order of priority, by the way. You want priority target, you want to know how many are shooting at you. You want adrenaline rush, because you often get chunked out, but you can still survive easily thanks to heal and smokes. And you want superintendent because additional smoke, additional hydro, additional heal, so very valuable. And you want concealment expert to be able to get as close as possible before having to use that smoke. And finally, smokescreen expert is the skill that I wanted. You saw me glide out many times from my smoke. Well, that's mostly because I'm rusty with the Royal Navy cruises, but I do in fact also use this on my Minotaur on my main account, and I find it highly valuable. In the past I've used things like Jack of all trades. I've tried Last Stand. Last Stand is not worth it, by the way. Jack of all trades, after 5%. None of these are as valuable as getting smokescreen expert. Not only does it allow you to smoke up sooner, because you can move slightly faster thanks to the increased size, it also gives you more maneuvering room inside the smoke to dodge torps if someone is shooting at you and so forth. So I highly recommend smokescreen expert. The Royal Navy cruisers are in fact the only ship where I recommend using this perk. And at this point, with this following 4 points, I would get manual AA is better on the Edinburgh. It's straight up better because you have so much of your damage on the high caliber guns. Well, the Neptune manual AA is much better than AFT, but if you don't want to be respecking later on, you could just get AFT, which is a nice buff to AA in general, and it's the best one to use on the Minotaur. But either one of these is a great upgrade to your anti-air. Either one you choose. Like, you can't really make a straight up terrible choice here. Both work just fine. But if you want to respec, use manual AA now and respec for AFT for the Minotaur. If you don't want to do any respecing, just get AFT right now. It won't be a bad choice and it will work just fine, and at tier 10 it will be the better choice. And last 3 points I would put into Vigilance. Some people get the HP perk, I don't really recommend it. 3.5k HP is so little at tier 10, especially on a ship like this. It's less than one good AP pen from a battleship pretty much. So rather just get Vigilance, because you're gonna get torped a lot in your smokes, especially high tier. Everyone wants to torp you, because of course you have no torpedo belt at all, and well, 2 torps can pretty much one-shot you, so yeah. Vigilance, highly recommended as the last 3-pointer. Anyway, that was my updated Edinburgh guide, since I hadn't covered the ship in absolutely ages. I hope you guys enjoyed it.